First of all, you don't know me.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, drama girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.
Wow, this episode.
I'm a wreck. I really was just in tears this morning.
Same. This was actually one of those that halfway through, I was like, man, I know with everyone's cities and jobs and time zones, it's really hard for us to watch and record all on Zoom. And I was like, I wish I'd just been able to cry with you guys. And then I was like, but wait, would it have made it worse?
We would have been having to stop every 10 minutes for me. I mean, I really had a sob fest this morning. I had to pause several times to just weep and then keep going.
I would have loved to have just been able to make eye contact with you guys. Because there were so many moments that were completely new to me. A couple that I remembered, but I would have just killed to have you guys in the room to be like, what? Yeah.
I was thinking about you with so many of the flashbacks. I was like, oh my God, Rob's having another one of those moments where he's seeing things he's never seen.
Yeah. Funny you say that, because I actually found myself, at first I was just going like, wait, what? And then I stopped looking at him. Because I feel like, listen, if I do run it back with One Tree Hill, I don't want to already be privy to the 10 biggest surprises of Dan Scott's run. And I saw after they're doing all these cuts, right? And after the second one where I was like, what the hell? I was like, I got to stop.
Right. It's almost like you're spoiling the show for yourself.
100%. I don't want to remember him standing in the street getting hit by this car if I watch this again. So I completely, every time he started to flash back, I just closed my eyes and looked at my phone.
You pulled the kid in the movie theater.
Yeah.
I'm not looking.
Because it was all so good.
Yeah,
and as much as I love coming in and asking you guys, what was that scene? I'm finding myself more and more interested in what it is. And then also going but this is the fun of watching it. And if I know the biggest twists ahead of time, that kind of robs the joy from it.
Yeah, you're right.
Oh, I can't wait for you to rewatch the first few seasons.
I know.
First 6.
I'm excited for you to meet V1 Brooke Davis and kind of hate her, but have it be hard for you to hate her.
It's going to be because I don't know those versions of the characters. So it's going to be interesting. We should, let's talk about this one though.
This episode.
Season 9, episode 11, Danny Boy. Aired March 21st, 2012. Synopsis reads, the search for Nathan has come to an end and Dan's life hangs in the balance. Oh boy, does it. Brooke is surprised when her father returns and Clay and Quinn reconnect with Logan. Written by our very own Mike Harrow and David Strauss.
Ooh.
Boy, did they write a good one.
I know somebody else who might not have seen this episode before, and we called him to see if he would be available to come sit with us and talk today, and we got him. Can we bring in Paul Johannson, please?
Let's bring in our Danny Boy.
Oh my gosh, I'm such a huge Paul fan. I hope I don't make it weird.
Hi.
Hi,
well,
handsome.
Hello, sir.
You just get more and more handsome every year, Paul.
I think the word is older.
False,
well, whatever it is,
sir.
it's working for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm blushing. I haven't seen you guys in so long. I'm actually blushing.
Hi.
Did you hear what we were just saying about you?
No.
Oh.
Well, half of it was nasty, but the other half was so lovely, you probably would have blushed even more.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, my humor only goes one direction. And that's the darkest secrets of the world.
It's good to see you, friend.
Oh, you too. Hi, Soph.
Hi, Paul. You had us all sobbing, just sobbing in this episode. My God.
Have you seen this episode before? Like, did you just film it and then we're like, I can't watch it back? Have you ever watched it? This one and the last one, actually.
The fans will probably not like this, but I probably have seen 25% of One Tree Hill.
Oh, we all have too. Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing now is watching it back because we hardly watched any.
Because I think when you're like, you guys know why. I'll just say this for the fans. I think I'm not a particularly huge fan of seeing myself. I'm too difficult I'm too hard on myself to allow myself to appreciate what they see, which is this character. I just see, I could have done that better, or that line land right, or you know what, where was my head, or the blocking, whatever it is. I'm one of those people. So, and I'm actually the same when I watch other people's work too. So it's hard for me to get but the good news is we are in the golden age of television, and the work out there is probably the best it's ever been. So I'm really enjoying this time. In a weird way, it kind of would be cool to see sort of like a what is that? Is what they call the dark marble, kind of like, AI stuff. I'd love to see a dark One Tree Hill AI version of all of us. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
It's funny you say that, because yes, and half of me goes, oh, that would be so fun. Yeah. Almost like the Upside Down episode from high school. And the other half of me, I gotta say it, people are already making such weird AI of all of us with old One Tree Hill photos, and I hate it.
Yeah.
It makes me feel so uncomfortable. It's so creepy. And I know people mean well, but to see yourself, but it's not yourself, and then you're doing things you never did. And I just think, I can't explain it. It makes my skin crawl.
Yeah.
How much darker could Dan get, though? Dan's already in the Upside Down, man.
Also that, I was going to say, I want the dark thing, like just for us to watch on a Zoom that's not for the public.
Yeah.
But then, Joy, you're right. Like, we could all go dark. Where would Dan Scott go?
I have a small treasure trove of fan fiction I've written over the years for One Tree Hill, and
Wonderful.
It gets real racy. So if you guys ever want, I can just send some your way, because
I'm good.
I think I can pretty much guarantee that there's at least one episode that opens with Dan looking hotter than Dan Scott / Paul Johannson has ever looked, which is a tall order to begin with. Walking through that warehouse in slow-mo, just one-handed cocking the shotgun. Paul, I know that's not the episode we're talking about, but last week, all three of us were like, wait, are we in love with Paul?
Yeah.
Like, differently than we already are? Like, are we going to run away with him? What's happening?
It was a big conversation whether or not I was going to do it like that, sort of like the Walking Tall version or whatever it is, from the 70s. Whether it was just going to be like one of these things. And I kind of was just like, let's just go full, let's go full 1970s bad boy vibe with it. In a weird way, I think, Craig and I often kind of joke about having had switched roles at one point in some sort of dream version. It would have been cool to like him be me and me be him in a weird way, and see how that would have played out, because that was originally what I wanted. I went to the writers before we started shooting and said, I really want the Keith part, and I really want it, and they were not having it. They're like, no, you don't get it. You don't go. And I had no clue. So.
You had no. Whoa. I'm so glad that you didn't. What you're saying about the work out there right now being the best it ever has been. The industry's changed so much, and what we're seeing on TV is it is a departure from what it was in the early 2000s. We're getting a lot more gritty, a lot more real, raw performances. And it's funny, as we watch back our show, I'm really proud of the work that we did. Like, there is so much that we were, I guess, being on a show for that long, at some point, the higher ups kind of take their hands off of it, and they just trust us to do our job in a lot of different lanes. And so I feel like we got to do a lot of that. But you certainly did in this episode. You really, really shined, whatever. Man, the scene with you and Nathan on the river court. This is you and Deb, which, by the way, Barbara, I'm sorry to be so ADHD. I don't mean to take us on a million trails, but like also watching Barbara in this episode, as soon as she walked in, I was like, wait, where has Barbara been the last 10 episodes or the last 6? Why wasn't she at Haley's side every second of the way? But anyway, your performance, Paul, really blew me away in this one. I don't think I've ever seen you do work like that. It was beautiful.
That means like the world to me. especially coming from you guys. I think Barbara is a movie star and should have been a major movie star.
Yeah.
She has everything, all the good. She's so talented.
Your guys' stuff was so perfect, like tonally as well. It opened with a joke and then it got sweet.
Yeah.
Dan closes it with the quickie joke, which is like perfectly on brand for him. But yeah, the river court scene, just so I'm clear, that was Dan sort of just having a fantasy of what he wished could have happened, correct?
I kind of thought it was Nathan's fantasy. Or maybe both of them were there together.
But yes, I had the same thought where I was like, Paul's doing exceptional work. And what, again, people who like aren't in the industry don't realize is you just got a script with essentially like 3 straight pages of dialogue.
Yeah.
And people don't understand, like, not only is that such an undertaking just to remember, but then to like have to play all the levels, you did it effortlessly. And it just looked natural and easy. And yeah, it was terrific work, Paul.
It was beautiful.
Well, love that. Thank you.
You know, I want to get to all of that. But to Joy's point, we just want to shower you. And then I'm like, wait, we actually have a job to do, which is to recap the whole episode. Something I love, and it actually ties into what you were saying, and we spoke about this last week for 9/10, how there was this really amazing balance between seriousness and almost like a sexy 70s heist comedy that you, Austin, and Tyler were doing together. And that it started in this great way because it's you and Austin, you know, and Dan and Julian are arguing and Julian's very like, what are you talking about? What have you done? You know, freaking out. And you think it's going to be this odd couple moment. And then you don't expect Chris Keller to pop between the two and go, is that guy dead? And you do all this really amazing stuff that is somehow able to toe the line between absurdist and funny and so real and high stakes.
You're the perfect straight man.
Exactly. And it really hit me in the opening of the episode that you managed to continue it even though things have gone sideways. Chris is gone. Nathan is with you. Julian's driving the car, and I just love that it opens with you being like, it's the switch in the middle.
Yes.
And you're like bleeding out in the
Dying.
back. And it's so serious and scary, and it's also so deadpan funny.
Yeah.
And I caught myself being like, yes, they kept what was so good with the 3 of you in 9/10 going in 9/11. And then the way the story starts to weave together, you know, Rob asked questions, Paul, last week about the timeline of the day. And even the fact that you 3 drive by on Front Street, you drive by Karen's and the Tree Hill Cafe and you see Brooke still dealing with that EMS crew and you realize this is how it all happens. Brooke hears it on the radio. She calls Haley. Like suddenly you understand where all of our people are. And it's such great balance and it's such great storytelling. Was it fun for you to watch that as a director? Because I know as an actor, it's hard to watch. But as a director, were you like, ooh, good cuts. Ooh, good reveal there. Or were you just like, I really hate watching myself on TV?
No, I did. I watched those ones. And like you're saying, there is a tremendous amount of craftsmanship that goes into a show with 20 leads. You know, there's a lot of work that comes down into intermingling and weaving together things that have to be resolved because you brought them up, and then you have to find a way to make them pay off. And that's high level work. And I'm really glad you pointed out that that's where the credit should go. You know, again, I really, you know, we have an exceptional cast. I just want to quickly say that working with those 2 guys, it brought back a lot of joy for me. You know, because it really brought, you know, a lot of just going to work and having something like that to do with those guys. And I mean, there's nobody like Tyler. I mean, I swear, I love him and I follow him on social media because he always makes me smile. He's a genuinely good person, you know, and it's kind of almost like I'm in awe of that because I just, you know, I still live in Hollywood. So I don't see it every day.
Yeah.
He's a genuinely good person and a very talented guy. And everybody I know knows him. You know, he's friends with like big movie stars and everybody, they all love him. And we were lucky, I think, to have him on our show. I think he brought a great deal of levity, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What memories do you have about filming these episodes? I mean, this whole sequence of like, I kind of wish you'd been able to be here with us for the whole run of this Serbian mafia storyline. It's just so funny. I just would love to hear any behind the scenes memories that you have from the whole thing and leading up to this.
It's funny you should say that, because the beginning of season 9 was very difficult for me to come back and do the show, because the showrunner called me and had kind of said, hey, listen, why don't you come back and do the story arc we've got for you, but there's a hitch. And I said, oh, okay, tell me the hitch first. He goes, no, I want to pitch you the story first, because you won't like the hitch. So he pitched me the storyline. I was like, that sounds amazing. And he goes, great, you got to take a 30% pay cut to do it. And I said, oh, well, I have family, I have a kid, and I have, wow, that's, God, I wish you would have led with that. So I ended up doing it, and I didn't do it for the money, obviously, because it was just such a good story, and I wanted to finish this character off right for the fans, and they deserved it. Mm-hmm. Tough way to swallow it, to come to work and know that they just, basically got my income. I'm only saying that because it was the story kept me there after 9 years, and you guys, I didn't want to miss seeing you guys.
That's such a manipulative tactic, A, that he led with the story, and B, what's also tough about it is that so much of the season 9 rides on you. Yeah. So if anything, right, I think there's a very valid argument to be made for, hey, we have a storyline we need you for, and you can ask for a little more money. You know what I mean? It's wild to be like, hey, you're the one guy who can really land this plane for us, and could you do it blindfolded? Like it's weird to be handicapping the person you're asking to really bring it home.
Considering how much money the show had made for the studio and the producers.
Did you hear the music in this episode? Every single artist, I was like, I know who that is. I know who that is.
Right. They could have pulled one of those songs.
Yes. It's rude to ask your actor to pay less money when it's like Coldplay, Florence and the Machine, this.
Yeah.
It's like, no, we're not hurting for cash.
I got paid because I got to see the people I love,
Yeah. Of course.
And really, I thought I could really bring a lot to that. But it was just I guess at the end of the day, it's really, I've always felt that this is the luckiest job in the world. I've always, I'm never grumpy on set because I'm always giddy about being there. You guys have been affected by me, so I come like, how are we going to mess things up today and have fun doing it? Because I don't see spontaneity. So that's how I feel. But that being said, just to go back, it was beautifully written for me, and remember, in order for it to work, you had to have 8 years of setup.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why it played so well,
I have to that point, I wrote so much in my notes. I found myself kind of like waxing poetic about Dan. But I just want to share some of these thoughts because I really think Dan is one of the best characters in television history. And that's due to you. I mean, like 90%. There's writing involved for sure, but that's all like devices to get us from point A to point B. And what you did with this character made all the other things possible. But the reason I think this about Dan is because I think it's one of the best mirrors for humanity that I've ever seen. Like we love to hate him because he feels what every one of us feels, but we don't act on it. And Dan does. He's a titan. So it puts us in a position where we sort of get to feel superior to him because we're watching this guy do all the things that we would never, even though thoughts pass through our mind, but we have self-control and we don't do these things.
Oh, we have too much morality for that.
That's right. Well, Dan doesn't. So he does what he wants. He's a titan. He's wrestling with his own humanity. He's pushing on every boundary. He's stepping on whoever he needs to step on. He's climbing and he's racing to arrive at what he thinks is the top of the mountain, which is that kind of ultimate power, control that we all like secretly wonder if we had that, would we finally be happy? Like in all the ways in our personal lives where we're in small ways trying to have power and control over things because we're just trying to reach some goal that we think if I get it, then it'll make me happy. So Dan comes to the end of his life and realizes there is no top of the mountain. It's a loop. And the vulnerability, the very thing that he's been trying his whole life to escape, which we've been watching him do for 10 years, the vulnerability is the key to reaching the one thing that he's always wanted, but he could never get, which is to be loved. Because love cannot be forced or bought or manipulated or coerced or demanded. And there were people who did love Dan, but he didn't know how to receive that love, knowing all the horrible things he's done. And receiving love requires surrender. Okay, I'm almost done, but like these are all my thanks for bearing with me.
You should write a book, Joy. Just gonna say that.
It would be a bestseller.
Fingers crossed. I just cannot think of a more fundamental human experience to watch unfold over the course of 10 years. We spent 9 seasons as an audience feeling superior to this guy, judging him, hating him. But in the end, he holds up a mirror to all of us. Because Dan did all the things the worst parts of ourselves want to do, but in the end, he still had to surrender in order to receive love. That message is it's a big rainbow over life. It's a big overarching, this is so much more than just a character on a TV show. That is the mirror. That is the road that we're all walking down on some level.
Yeah. And to piggyback that, Joy, one of the things that really hit me, Paul, watching you do what you do, which is not just watching you deliver this storyline, but also listen to your coworkers in these scenes. What made me sob over and over again in these moments you had with people was we saw Dan finally own his behavior in ways that he hadn't before. And every single person, when you said, I'm so sorry, like once they heard I'm sorry, was able to say, I still love you. Like, yes, this horrible thing happened, but I still love you. And you got to hear it from Deb, and you got to hear it from Haley, and you got to hear it from Nathan. And it was like, that's it. And we've talked about this a lot. You know, a couple of weeks ago, Joy, we were talking about how do you practice your integrity and your morality and you know, the human desire to want to believe you can forgive when you come up against the most horrific thing. And like, it's an exercise. You can't just be, you know, a little poly-Puritan and like do it. The day Dan kills Keith, everyone isn't going to be like, well, if you say sorry, we'll forgive you. It takes time. And there's something about this storyline and you being the person who could do it for the show, like not just for Dan, but for the whole show, where we got to see the human struggle of depravity and reclamation and complicated forgiveness happen, and how much time that can take and how hard it can be for people, and that you'll fall down, but you just have to keep getting back up. And like, to Joy's point, that's why for me, and clearly for all of us, you are one of the best television characters of all time, because we don't get that. We get like, wrap it up in a bow, solve the case of the week at the end of every episode and move along. And like, this is a truly human journey. Yes, on a show that rides a shark a lot, but like a truly human journey. We read books about families that go through stuff like this that get written after the patriarch dies. The family has never dealt with it before. And then someone writes a gorgeous story, right? But to see it and to have it modeled for a decade and to watch this show, whether you've been Dan Scott or you've been Deb or any of the rest of us, and go, oh, I wonder if I could own it and change. I wonder if I could say I'm sorry for the 100th time and mean it differently and have a different relationship with the person that I love and that I hurt.
Yeah.
Hello?
And your ability, Paul, of all the things that you've been through in your life, the history that you carry with you and the way that you interpret that into your work, that you don't just separate the two and show up and say lines. Like you bring this deep, deep, deep well of making poetry out of difficulty. And you bring that into your characters and into your work. And you certainly did it here. I don't think One Tree Hill would have kept going without you or could have existed. Like you really, it's just such a beautiful, beautiful story.
We love you.
That scene at the river court, I thought was the perfect encapsulation of, and we've talked about this before, where it's like what happens with Julian. I don't know if you, since you haven't seen all the episodes, Paul, but like there's the storyline where Julian accidentally leaves one of the boys in the car and the window has to get broken and there's a whole blowback. And we talked about how like if you just saw a newspaper headline of like man leaves baby in car, you'd be so quick to judge and sort of be, be better than, or, and then, but then when you actually get to see the person, you realize like, wow, it's a human being. It was a simple mistake. I feel like if you can do that with Dan Scott, you can do that with anyone. And I feel like that was the challenge of the episode. And that scene at the river court is where they really stuck the landing. Because it wasn't easy. It wasn't like, cause I'm a bad guy or he's a dickhead. It was grounded in like very honest, simple human feelings.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where it was so successful, is because at the end of it, you find yourself, if you can have empathy and compassion for Dan Scott, then you can have it for everyone.
And people can have it for you if you see yourself as the Dan Scott of your own life. You have so much shame and you're carrying so many things that you've done. You're not beyond redemption.
It also struck me as such a lesson, really profound at the time, right? Because the idea, that phrase, it gets better, was really launched in the early days of our social connectivity to try to help people not give up, to be an anti-suicidality rallying cry.
Yeah,
like right. It will get better. There will be you will find your people. Things will be okay. Maybe not today or tomorrow, but eventually. And it struck me today, like we talk about this a lot on the show, Paul, how we got it then, but now with, all these years more of life experience and hardship and heartbreak and great moments too, but all of it, that we see these storylines differently even than we did at the time. And watching you deliver that performance that like eviscerated me as a viewer and as your friend and as your coworker. I had nowhere to hide from my tears.
Weep.
I just was like, oh God. The fact that you were able to, in this role, encapsulate an experience that I think so many people have had, which is, I know you're trying to help me, but I'm in so much pain that your hopefulness is painful to me. It's so human. It's why, 12 years later, with way more access to things in our social connectivity, people follow therapists that don't treat them, that are like, actually, the thing not to say to a grieving person is this. The thing you maybe want to say to them is this other thing. Share how you'll be there for them. Share these things. And to have a man like Dan Scott, a titan, like Joy said, say to us, this hopefulness hurt me so badly that I acted out of my pain in the most horrific way. It's like watching an elephant sit down. You're just like, what's happening? I've never seen this happen before. Like the king of the jungle is having a moment. And the two of you together, I mean, he's obviously not here today, but you and James, the way you play this father and this son, to watch you have this experience and the wisdom of the writers to give us the conversation that was happening at Dan's bedside in the hospital, but put it on the river court and have all of us wonder, like, wait, did Nathan bust him out for like a final night?
I thought it was a flashback, maybe.
And then when you stand up, what it did for me was when you stood up and said, let's play a game, I was like, oh my God, he's dying. He's dying right now.
Oh God.
He's hallucinating. Oh my God. And I'm sorry, I can't stop crying. It just crushed me. And you two were so beautiful. And even to hear Dan say, like, for once, let's not keep score.
Yes.
Oh, so good.
The release of all his stuff in like his dying breaths with his son. Goodbye.
That was the perfect button for it, where he said, let's not keep score for once. Let's just play to play. I was like, I
And the
finally
happiness
got
on
there.
your face. Like the joy we got to watch you have of, finding this other emotional level. To Rob's point, like, only you could have landed that plane. And we could only have had such a profound lesson from a character we'd spent 10 years loving to hate and hating to love. And like, holy shit.
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't know if you
Paul.
ever look back on it and think like, I really did some things on that show, but I hope you do.
Yeah.
Let me just say two quick things. One is for as much fun as we've had laughing at the absurdity of season 9 with its ridiculous twists and high highs, I feel like we are getting treated so far. I don't want to jinx it because we still have 2 episodes left, but like to the longest, best wrap up of a series. Last episode was the action, it was the comedy. This episode was just all of the feelings. And I just felt like, man, it's been such a service to the fans. And I'm like, now I'm here for it. Like, I'm glad we went through the awkward years of puberty in junior high school to now be beautiful and flourishing our senior year of high school.
Yeah.
And the other thing though, is that like, I'm so grateful that you chose to sort of honor the character and show up for the fans in a situation where you rightfully could have said no because you weren't being treated respectfully or fairly. So, because I mean, we can't talk about season 9 if Dan hadn't been there. That's literally it's the spinal cord of the whole season.
Yes, of the whole show. I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but I'm saying just specifically season 9 though. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
What's the through line? So, as a fan who has come to love Dan Scott, I'm grateful that you showed up and you brought it the way you did because, man, it's great.
I'm at a loss for words. I didn't expect to be invited here today and to be spoken to with such appreciation. It means a lot to me what you guys are saying, and I don't think about it that much anymore. I'm living my life, and I'm grateful, but I don't think about it. But as we talk, and having been requested to go back and look at the show, last night and today, a lot of things came back, a lot of stuff about how I walked onto the set for that one speech at the River Court and prepared myself about 24 hours before I came in on a lot of really deep diving on, having spent years embodying a character that was reviled by people and holding that inside and feel, never being invited to, be part of the promotion of the show. Like none of the adults were, not just me, but all the older characters who kind of been, not that it mattered to us then, but having such, looking back on it going, would have been a different experience had there been sort of a way to share this with my sweet friend, Craig Sheffer, who, as you guys know, nursed me back to health when I couldn't even play my own part. He had to play it for me off camera for those guys. I mean, just great people, but the Karen and Deb characters are essential to this show too. They brought a great sense of female empowerment and strength, standing up against, a behemoth of a man who just bullied the hell out of them, and they fought for their children's freedom from him. And it's just stories that I see in real life too. It's beautiful that you guys are saying these things to me. I do have to acknowledge that, it's, giving the right tools from the creative side of it, the creative writing side that we're not really much of a part of. I usually just take the script and do what I can with my character and go, how would this character that I know want this to come out in the way that we play it? Because to me, it's always playing. I just keep myself open to whatever's happening. My favorite thing is, when it doesn't go the way I expected. That's my favorite scene of the day.
Yeah.
But to end this, that scene of the river court was something that I did do a lot of work saying up in my head was, slow down. Don't sell it. It's not a fucking presentation. It's a personal experience. Slow down and do it for you, Paul. Do this for you. That are important to you. And if they're not coming out the right way, that means you're not dialed into what this is really about. This is a scene about a man who's laying in the bed, and his last prayer. To me, when you guys say whose version was it from, for me, I played it as if I was talking to whatever maker I'm going to, saying, "Hey man, I f***ed up. Can I please just be understood for a minute? Just can somebody understand me?" And so I'm transported to this river court with my son, and it's like, oh God, thank you for picking him. That's the one. And there was all outside of me. It was all like a sort of like a biblical experience for Dan. And then when I had a chance to say, it's not you, it's me. It's not you, it's me. Live your life, love your child, go hug your wife, forgive yourself. You did nothing wrong. It's me. It's not you. Will you please take from this at least the knowledge that I loved you. I'm flawed, but I loved you. And I just, all I need to hear is the 2 words, 3 words, I guess. I forgive you. And once you say that, I can be set free. And when he gives that to me, that's when I can play basketball. That's when I can go to see with Keith. That's when I can move on. I can't until you forgive me. But how can you forgive me if you don't know me? Because nobody sat there and asked me, how you doing, Dan? How you feel? Nothing. So I kind of made it about me, Paul, like playing Dan, and gave me. So if that's what you guys are resonating, then that means I did my job. So
it's powerful.
It's really beautiful.
Well, we should probably jump into your criticisms now of your performance.
Get ready. You've had all the niceties you're going to get, sir.
Somebody make me stop crying. Oh, God, please.
Okay, no, we needed to shower you with that much love and appreciation. But we'd be remiss if we didn't discuss the rest of this episode, because this was a great episode.
It was so good.
I loved the first time Haley sees Nathan.
Oh.
And the sweet exchange of high hails, and there's
say
a beat,
that again.
And Haley says, "Say that again."
Yeah.
I thought that's the perfect. All she wants to do is hear her husband greeting her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I remember shooting that. I don't remember anything particular about it other than just the feeling of knowing what a big deal moment it was.
Yeah.
And the choreography had to be so specific of bodies parting at certain times so that we could see each other and get to each other. And I remember it feeling like a big deal, and it really paid off. I love the way that it looked.
I watched your eyes during that scene. All I did was watch your eyes, and I was like, nobody plays Searching Panic like Joy. Just watch your eyes. You're searching. It's beautiful.
Thank you. That's just my internal daily monologue. Is there anywhere safe for me? Anywhere at all?
Yeah.
Waiting for the other shoe to drop.
It felt so special and so interesting. It struck me watching that, to your point, Joy, understanding the technical side. And, Paul, you've directed a million sequences like that, for our friends at home to move on a Steadicam through the hallways, get to your mark, stop, make sure all our background actors are in their own sort of ballet, which looks, natural, like the flow of humans, but it's actually quite complex to get all the timing right. And then to bring these people together in the hallway, it struck me that it was one of the only moments of real, like deep breath relief happiness we've had in the Tree Hill Hospital.
Ooh,
it's always absolute shenanigans and a nightmare, and someone's going to die in the hospital.
Yeah.
And there was something so interesting about that scene between the two of you being the opener where we all got to collectively take that deep breath. You know, you knew that the audience was finally going to get what they'd been begging for all season. And suddenly the hospital for the rest of the episode is like a cocoon. It's this really safe place for all these characters. They get to have these moments that they haven't had before. And it was really interesting to invert what that set normally meant for us. And I thought it kind of lent this like subconscious, something is shifting here. And then I felt the shift everywhere. I felt it in Haley and Dan when you took Lydia to see him. I felt it in Nathan's scenes as a father, knowing he could probably lean into telling Jamie it might be okay, but that wasn't the right thing to do. And that he needed to prepare his son. I felt it even though you weren't in the hospital, Rob, in your moment of continuing to show up, you know, continuing to knock at the door for Logan. And then finally saying to Logan when he was like, well, you know, you went to wander, and you were like, no, I wasn't wandering away. I was looking for something, and it was you.
Yeah.
So good.
I just was like, oh my God, our dads. Like,
Dad, that's my title for the episode. Dads.
yes, from Dan to Nathan. And then watching Nathan and Clay, I was like, oh my God. And even Julian, you know, you don't really see us with the kids, but Julian being able to stand there and say, I'm happy I could help.
He was holding you up, Julian.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it was just so special.
And Julian, how about he's just so steady. He's such a great partner. Like, I love the fact that Brooke's dad blows back into town, and for once we think she might be getting the dad she deserves.
I bought it too. Hook, line, and sinker. I was like, finally, yay.
And I loved how Julian saw her the entire time. Like, when she was upset, he didn't have to ask why. He knew exactly what it was. And he was on her team. And I was like, man, because kind of going back to the thing of like, all Dan Scott wanted was to be seen and to be understood, right? Which I think is wildly universal, right? And I just loved that for Brooke in this moment where the person she probably wants more than anyone to love her and to know her is completely missing the mark. Here comes her chosen person who's like, nah, I see you.
And there's something really interesting when I reflect on her storyline. The reason the father relationship felt especially crucial to her is because not only is she hoping to get a do-over with her dad, she's hoping to get a do-over with the scenario she went through with her mom without it taking so long and involving so much hardship and involving so much betrayal. She's hoping to rebuild. You know, she says it many episodes ago to Victoria when she's like, oh, what makes you think he's going to change? And she says, you did. So in a way, I realized in this episode that what I was witnessing between Brooke and her dad was like a double letdown. And Julian really takes on that mantle of a partner, like everything. He's really a head of household in that moment to just say, like, it doesn't matter what's out there. What matters is what's in here. And it reminded me a lot of last episode when you guys had your conversation, Paul, when Dan is pressing Julian, you know, why do you want to do this? And what are you really here for? And is this about your kid? And you're not even really friends with my son. Like, you really try to push his buttons. And he's like, because he is my friend. And I believe we should show up for people. And he just keeps showing up. And it's a quality that I think is so tremendously important. And I also liked, here's my ADHD brain being like, ping, this other thing. I loved, Joy, that you had the moment, that Haley had the moment with Julian to acknowledge who he's been and what he's done. Because there's never been any fanfare for him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't need it, but he does deserve it. And I love that you guys had that little moment in the hospital together. It was really sweet.
Me too. That really showed me the scene between you and Julian felt so much like, oh, this is the power of one person. Because when I'm looking at Brooke objectively, like, this woman has, talk about looking for a safe place. Her mom's not safe. Her dad turns up not to be safe. So many of her friends have betrayed her. So many boyfriends, so many business people. Like, now she's dealing with a she's been let down by the system in multiple ways, like when the police won't help her out and that she gets attacked again by this guy. The cafe, like it is just blow after blow for Brooke's whole life. Talk about looking for a safe place. She's finally home. She's like got her husband and her babies. Oh, and then her husband leaves the kids in the car. So then she's got to like deal with, I mean, you know, it's a thing. And now her dad comes and it's like the one piece that is supposed to guarantee safety. Your dad is supposed to show up for you. And he doesn't. And like, God, that was another one, Brooke. I mean, Sophia, oh my God. I was like, wow, I've known you for 20 years. Okay.
Yeah. No, by the way, I have to tell you, as I'm listening to you talk, I'm like, isn't it so weird? Did I manifest Brooke Davis or did Brooke Davis manifest so many of the insane things that have happened to me? Do I love her or am I furious that I spent 10 years calling in that energy to my life? I can't. But it was so like Sophia watching you when Brooke says like, why doesn't my dad want me? And like, I've got a great relationship with my dad. I've had moments of feeling that though. I think a lot of people have, but particularly for so many people who've really had not had their dad show up. And, you know, the way that translates also over to your storyline, Paul, and yours, yours, Rob, that I'm sorry, I don't mean to be so squirrely. What I'm really trying to say is the fact that her dad manipulated her, not just didn't show up, but did show up and actually was trying to coerce and manipulate her. Another major, major letdown. Because it's narcissistic abuse.
This is grounds for a nervous breakdown. Like we talk about why people need to check themselves into mental health facilities. There is no reason why Brooke should not have been like, I'm going to go check into like Silver Hill. I'll see you guys later. Except for the fact that she had one person there who held her, who saw her, who was willing to walk through it with her. And even if she had decided to go check in somewhere, hey, people need to do what they need to do. But like, I'm just saying, Julian was such a hero here. And really the power of one is so amazing.
And I think the power of one really, it rings so true. I'm saying yes to every single thing you're saying. And also I'm laughing because, you know, to your point, we've all been friends for 20 years. Like we see ourselves in each other and in our characters and we know what relates on screen and what's happened off screen. So of course we're starting to call each other by the wrong names because it's literally all the same.
Well, that's why I'm weeping. It's not like, I mean, I cry about characters on TV a little bit, but like, I know you guys.
But it's so emotional and it's so powerful. And the thing that isn't lost on me and that I really appreciate for her and that maybe it's hitting me so hard because it's a thing I finally feel like I appreciate in my own life. Brooke's been through it enough to know she doesn't need anyone. Yes, she's totally capable on her own, but she deserves someone and she deserves someone good. And there's something about when you have someone good in your life, whether it's your best friend who doesn't leave your side when some shit goes down, like you talked about with Craig, Paul, whether it's the partner that you wish you'd found 10 years ago, but you'll take them this year because God, you'll take any time with them you can get, whatever it looks like. When you have someone, not only, I think, do you understand that you don't have to go through something alone, but weirdly it heals you in reverse because you go, oh, I actually never did have this. So I can identify the patterns as to why certain things happened, certain things didn't work. I had to move past certain things. And to your point earlier, Rob, when you were saying like it's so universal, no one else has been Dan Scott. You know, nobody else has had Brooke's crazy life or had their, I mean, I hope not many people have had their husbands kidnapped like Haley. I'll go down the list. But there's something about these characters, their specificity and the way they show up and the way they show out as humans. That's the thing that's relatable for everybody. And I don't know, to your point, I think we're getting the wrap up our show deserves. And all the shark moments and all the dog hearts and all the things are so worth it because of the genuine human experiences we're watching right now. And, you know, you are the tip of that spear, Paul, and you opened you literally like pierced the veil and opened the space for all the rest of us to be more human in this journey to the end.
This is why 20 years later, we still have sold out fan events, by the way, this conversation, because what you identified. I think that's why. I think they genuinely identify, as Rob was saying. This is an onion that every time you peel a layer, the characters go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Yeah,
something for everybody. We really did bring something to our fans that I think was special.
Can I just point out something way more superficial and lighthearted, but just to the theme of Brooke is just an absolute badass. I'm very curious to know how many of you caught this, but the first scene where Brooke's dad shows up, Brooke is at home. This is the morning after she has been viciously assaulted and thrown down a set of metal stairs. Uh-huh. She is tending to 2 babies, solo parenting.
I know what you're going to say.
And she is inside her own house, and she is wearing high heels.
And a mini skirt.
I saw that shit and was like, what? She's either nuts. Like, it's just, that's the craziest choice in the world.
She's either nuts or it's like a coping mechanism.
Yes.
It's like, I'm going to put on my very favorite outfit because everything is and I need to feel in control and pretty, and maybe I'll wear high heels so I feel extra pretty. Like, it's so strange.
Was that you, or was that something they brought up?
I don't really remember. And I wish that I did, because there's memories I have of wardrobe choices in episodes that are so specific and so intentional. I don't remember.
But also, like, they often start on the wide shot. Usually every scene starts on a wide shot. So it's totally feasible that you were on set, ready to go. You walked on set and you were like, where's my shoes? And somebody handed you high heels and you're like, what? Okay, just let's go.
Whatever. Also, we were blessed with all of you as our male cohorts. You're all so tall. Yeah. So we would always have to be in heels, or they'd have to build us little pathways of apple boxes so we could do the 2 shots. So I feel like, yes, it's a running joke. Like, why are these women always looking like they're going to some crazy nightclub or red carpet event? But it was easier for the crew, for us just to be jacked up, taller, than to have to like build little ant pathways through the set. So I sadly don't have a specific memory on this one. But it was not lost on me, that she's like walking around and cooking lunch for her dad and doing all these things in that outfit. Rob, I thought you were when you said like Brooke's a badass, I thought you were gonna be like, oh, when she sassed the cop and basically it was like, I told you so. I was so glad I got to have that moment with them, because it's just like, you've put me in this position because you didn't want to listen to a woman who told you what was going to happen. And now I've had to clean up your mess. And I was very grateful that they gave me that little moment to kind of say the thing that I know so many women have wanted to say.
Did you think it was weird that Julian drove past the cafe with Dan and Nathan in the car and didn't notice like the ambulance and the fire truck and all the things outside?
Not at all.
I didn't, because I thought really about how fast they're going and the adrenaline, and how he's probably more looking in the rearview mirror to see if this man is alive or dead.
Yeah, making sure traffic's open so he's not hitting anybody.
And it was up the side street. What I did love, though, was getting and I think I might have said this at the top of the episode, so forgive me. I loved getting the confirmation of how the night went down, because the second Brooke hears him, and I also sort of geeked because we're obviously doing comic book stuff because of Clay and Logan. I loved that she's there 1 second and then she's gone, and the blanket is like hitting the ground like a superhero
She ninja vanished.
Yeah, like we were just we were having little comic book nods everywhere. And it was fun for me to remember, because we couldn't remember at the end of last week, that of course, oh my God, that's it. Brooke hears the radio, runs to her car, calls Haley. And then we all go to the hospital. And of course, as things go, it takes a beat for anyone to even think to call Quinn and Clay. Because like we're at the hospital and Nathan's here. And it felt so honestly human. Those little choices about how things go down. And, someone finally goes, oh my God, does so-and-so know? And it was a really sweet thing in our show that can be ridiculous. When we get it right and it feels really authentic, it's nice, even in the tiniest details.
Speaking of little choices, let's talk about Logan.
Yep.
Also,
Little
by the way,
choices.
in
That's
an
sweet little
incredible
boy.
episode, one of my most favorite moments was this tiny blink and you'll miss it unscripted moment where we're shooting. We're back on the street. We are shooting through Clay's car. So you see Quinn in her seat, and then you see the door to Sarah's parents' house where Logan lives. And Quinn is waiting, and the door opens, and Clay and Logan start to walk out, and you see her kind of clock them and start to look back down. And then she quickly looks back and realizes that Logan is coming along, and she kind of does this jump in her seat. And it's like this sweetest little moment of like genuine excitement from her. And I was like, oh, that was so perfect, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's just great, right?
He's so good. I just, every time his eyes are so big, they're big like saucers and they're so deep. I just want to stare into them while he talks. He's so sweet.
And he smiles with his whole face, which is my favorite thing that can happen to a kid at that age. You know, because some kids will, like they do the smile because they don't know what to do with their teeth. And sweet Pierce, I mean, he just smiles with his entire face. And when he looks up at her, it was such a sweet moment for the three of you, but what actually gutted me and made me burst into tears for the 140th time in this hour was watching you watch Logan and Quinn have this moment together. I was like, oh, I can't take it, my heart.
You were so earnest and so happy. It was just like, it's the relief of finally getting to see you just be happy. Leading man, like Sophia was saying in the last episode, there was just something so strong and steady and like settled about Clay. Like, finally. Paul, we've been talking and talking and talking. What do you have to say about this episode? I'm curious.
What I'm watching is the dynamics of drama queens happening. I'm watching Rob do what he does so well. He's keeping the ship going in the right direction.
He's like, okay, girls. He has to wrangle us all the time, like herding cats.
Sophie's bringing up these fantastic anecdotal thoughts and things like that. Joey's emoting, bringing in. It's like, this is the perfect drama queens episode because you're all playing to your strengths. And I'm just sitting here just soaking it in, having so much fun.
I know you said you were at a loss for words, and we all were like, "It's okay, we'll keep talking."
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Was there anything else about when you were watching our episode back? Was there anything about it that you? I don't know. I'm just curious, kind of what your thoughts were. You know, they rolled the credits. They had a beautiful memorial to your mother. Like the episode was dedicated to your mom.
Yeah.
I know you were going through a lot while we were even shooting that. Yeah, I'm just like anything extra that you want to share.
Well, I think I was sharing what you guys were sharing too. Is like there's a lot of bittersweet at the ending of a time of our lives, which isn't just a TV show, but living in Wilmington, friendships, the crew who are family and friends, our lifestyle is different. Everything's going to change. There's nothing going to stop that. And you know, the train's left the station. It's happening. And so as we start getting closer to each episode, the last episode, I'm leaving an episode before you guys are. And so I'm not going to be there for the big party. I'm not going to be there for the final hug goodbye with everybody. And all that was hitting me too during that episode. It wasn't just my character. It was Paul Johansson's friends, you know, Paul Johansson's home in, you know, over there in Wrightsville Beach, all the things that I put down my roots. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you guys have a good time. I'm going to check out and miss the party. And it was, you know, there was a lot of it, but you know, it's a big boy life to choose to be a big girl life too, to choose to be an actor, you know, and we go do movies for 3-4 months and we have great loves and friendships and people. I'm going to stay friends with you for the rest of my life. And you see him again at 2-3 years later. Oh, hey man, how you doing? It's the life, man. And I just
so hard,
right? So flat, you know.
It is. It's really difficult and it's strange because you feel so lucky. And I think what we do, especially when you're fortunate enough to do it the way we did, where you do it for so long, when it ends and then you're all on your next thing, it's almost like being confronted with your own mortality early because you realize you genuinely only have so much time. And you do a show and then you go and you do another long running show and it's like, You have to invest in where you are. But when 25 of us, as you mentioned, we had each other, and then you have to go invest in where you are. So you're not a total asshole. And also, what else are you supposed to do? You live somewhere new. It's impossible to maintain the closeness you're sure you're going to maintain. Right. It's a very strange hybrid of immense love and mourning, because I could see you once a week or once a year or once every 3 years, like you were mentioning when you run into someone from your crew, and you're my family. I'm so in love with that. And I'm so sad forever that we can't just have the regularity. Keep showing up to set every morning. Yeah. Like, I'm so sad, but it's literally impossible. And it's a really weird thing to try to figure out how to navigate and hold, I guess. If that makes sense. It's very strange.
What I think is so cool about it, though, is that, so first of all, we all got to have this experience, like just selfishly amongst us, right? Like what a crazy ride. High highs, low lows, all of it. And like Paul said, it has really been such a gift for everyone who got to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Then what's great is, though, we created something that has a legacy. And it has a very widespread legacy that has brought a lot of people joy and strength and companionship. Sometimes I think the show has been that one person to people who were struggling. So it's such a wonderful feeling that, like, we contributed something that was value added to some folks out there. But then, like, the double bonus is, because of that, it creates all of these opportunities, this podcast, the conventions, where we get to come back together to honor and celebrate this thing. And then selfishly behind the scenes, give each other hugs and be like, this shit's like summer camp. Holy crap, you look great. How are you? You know, that's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
It is.
In a weird way, I kind of wish that, and it doesn't put aside all of the struggles. It doesn't, and all that stuff is kind of like, it's sort of a bit of a life out and mirroring another life, you know, because in our own lives, we also had all the stories that we had of Joy wrote a book about it. We all had our own kind of like journeys while we had the journey together, and knew about each other's journeys, and some of us didn't. And the people we got close to kind of had an idea, but nobody really kind of knew what anybody was really going through, because you can only kind of talk about it. You can't really experience it through somebody else. So now that I'm older and we're all older and we're looking back on it, I'm going, what? That was happening? Or, oh my, Joey's book was like, I knew and I was super close. I didn't know. Like, I didn't really know. You know, I now want to read. I get everyone to write a book so I can know you better. You know what I mean? I want to know what you're going through, because if I wrote a book, it'd just be like, you guys would be like, wait a minute.
Yeah, I know. We need to read each other's book, and then there's got to be some time warp where we can go back and just do it all over again, but all in the best ways.
Paul, let's rent a cabin somewhere, just you and I, a couple boxes of Hot Pockets, some Mountain Dew, and let's just bang out some books, okay?
Oh, yeah.
I'm coming.
Paul, I am waiting for your book. Oh, my God.
So if you're invited.
I would lose a lot of friends if I wrote my book, believe me.
Isn't that a funny thing? Yeah, when you think and you're like, would I? I don't know. I don't know if it's worth it to say the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's tough. You gotta navigate that very carefully.
Yeah.
I believe that we have a perfect fan question today, because it is for you, Mr. Paul Johannson. Sonia asks, in honor of one of the greatest villains of all time. Wow, funny, Sonia. We were just saying the same thing. What is your favorite Dan Scott scene?
Oh, that's not fair. Can we quickly get you guys to do it, and then I'll do it? Rob, what's your favorite?
I'll allow it.
I like that.
Okay, so I'm on first. Okay, I only have knowledge of Dan Scott seasons 7 through 9, mind you. I haven't lapped back yet. So, okay, listen, there are myriad fun scenes, right? Of just drama, bitchiness. honorable mention is going to be the slow-mo shotgun walk, because listen, that was incredible. So that scene awoke something in me, deep down inside me. I have a newfound crush on Paul Johannson. But I will say my favorite scene, it's River Court, you and Nathan.
Yeah.
Because that was beautiful. And like I said, I think it was it was so much was being said, and it was written beautifully. It was performed beautifully. And that was the scene where I was like, oh, yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah, that was the payoff. I'm flashing through all these moments in my mind, but I can't identify exactly what they're from. Like there were other moments in earlier seasons where you were manipulating something, but it seemed so real, or you were genuinely, it seemed like you were really remorseful, but actually you just were sad that you were suffering consequences, not that you were actually like experiencing remorse.
Yeah. Like some of those moments where we'd watch and be like, oh my God, is Dan changing? And then the next scene we'd be like, damn it, he got us. Paul got us.
I know. But this is the payoff for all of it. Yeah.
I agree. I have loved watching you work for 10 years and now really 20, because we've gone back to do this. It's impossible to pick, but also impossible to pick anything but that scene between you and Nathan in this episode on the River Court. It's like, it's the finishing of this incredible meal that you've served us, and it's just perfect.
Well, I'm going to be very boring then, because I could go back to getting my face smashed by Joy in the 1940s.
The flashback episode? Yeah.
It was so fun because, for, I don't know, 8 years, it was like I was, having this wonderful game on set of my infatuation, and it was played out and smashed into my face, which was hilarious. And you have to have that kind of like approach to it. Also, I think some of the scenes that I felt like I did with Moira, I thought were very strong.
Yes.
There's some very strong work that we had, because we had to do some very intense things. And then I love the humor, I think, that Rob was, sort of alluding to with Boozy and the pranksters. Were super fun, and I don't know if you remember those, if you were around for those, but they were super playful and very much
the War of the Roses.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. But the River Court scene is my favorite Dan Scott scene, because I got the catharsis that my friends, you guys, and my fans and the One Tree Hill audience got. We all shared together. It was a very important and very generous gift to me as an actor from the writing staff and the producers and the studio and everybody else, to give me an episode where I got my own episode to say goodbye. And then you guys did your episode after, but they really didn't have to do that.
But it was the right thing to do.
It was the smart thing to do. It
was wonderful. So that is it. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, there is no one else I would rather have been drowned by, not once, but twice.
That's
in
right,
the biz,
twice.
Other than
my gosh.
Paul Johannson.
Well, I'm available anytime you want to be drowned.
Maybe later this week you can drown me in Paris, perhaps.
That's right.
It'd be nice.
Go, maybe next time.
We should spin a wheel.
Oh, that's a great idea. All right. We have most likely to accidentally start a fire while cooking.
We shot that episode, Joy. I directed it, remember?
You did, yes. It's Chris Keller, of course.
Oh my gosh.
Who did start the fire, and you directed that episode. We had so much fun. That was so hard not to laugh that day. Like, just get your work done, don't laugh. So hard. I don't know who in real life is a really bad cook.
Joy, my knee jerk was you. Not because you're not a competent cook, but because you sort of have that like forgetfulness about you occasionally. Where you're like leave a computer on a plane and walk away. I could just see like a boiling pot of water, and you're just like a butterfly. I should write a poem about that.
Rob, you're not wrong. I have burned many a pan by leaving it on the stove and forgetting, walking away. thinking, oh, I'll just get this started and then I'm going to go do my makeup and then I'll come back and make dinner. And then, oh no, the house is on fire.
Yeah.
It probably is me. Oh, Rob, I mean, Paul, thank you so much for joining us. I was really special to have you.
Yes.
And thanks for allowing us to share. You know, it's nice to say things about someone, but the soul satisfaction of being able to say it to their face is really important.
I love you guys. I love all
love
of
you too.
We love you.
Likewise,
Thank you
buddy.
for letting us shower you with the compliments we've been storing up like little chipmunks in the cheeks of our hearts.
And thanks for the gift of Dan Scott.
Well, I'm grateful that you guys allowed me to be a part of this. Especially, I know you guys have, again, you're wrapping things up and it's beautiful, but thank you for letting me be a part of this particular episode. And I hope I see you guys all soon, somewhere.
Yes, please.
Please.
See you soon. Friends, next episode, season 9, episode 12, Anyone Who Had a Heart. We'll see you next week. Bye. Hey, thanks for listening.
Don't forget to leave us a review. You can also follow us on Instagram at DramaQueensOTH.
Or email us at dramaqueens@iheartradio.com. See you next time.
We're all about that high school drama girl, all about them high school queens. We'll take you for a ride in our comic girl, cheering for the right team. Drama queens, smart girl, rough girl, fashion but you're tough girl. You could sit with us, girl. Drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens, drama queens.